Hello everyone, Ceri the Crafter here, that's C-E-R-I the Crafter, and yep, you've guessed it, it's Margarete Miller time again, and I want to say we're about 43 maybe? 44, we're on number 44, let's get rid of the bookmark. We're really getting close to the end now, I'm quite excited about this, not that I haven't been excited about the whole thing, but I'm getting there. Okay, those are the prompts for today, and the reason I'm reasonably happy with this one is because no matter what this is saying here, this is Halloween week, and I'm turning this into a Halloween spread. So, oh, excuse me. So hopefully you can see everything. As you know, I get a bit paranoid about that, but I will pull it in and out as we go along. We know that. Okay, regular tools. We've got scissors, glue stick. I've got my smoother or my scraper. I've got my tear ruler, and we've obviously got glue book. And I think I'm going to have to pull in a couple of other glues along the way, maybe Fabri-Tac because there's fabric involved, and maybe art glitter glue. So kind of watch this space, not really sure what I'm pulling in for this one, but I do know I'm excited because this is a Halloween one and I like Halloween. And I like trick-or-treat and all of that. I like the season. I don't necessarily like what people do to people when they're tricking or treating, but I do quite like the whole season. Probably when I lived in America, I really got into it, and the Brits aren't completely into it yet, but I think they're getting there. So, right, let's have a little look at the prompts and what I pulled forward, and then we'll just try and create something different. Right, something sweet is the first prompt. What's not sweet about pumpkin pie? There you go, pumpkin pie, found a picture of it, love pumpkin pie. Actually, let's say something. I love good pumpkin pie, and I absolutely adore pecan pie. Or is it pecan, or is it pecan, or you say how you say it, I say it how I say it. Anyway, pumpkin pie, God love that. Next thing is fabric. So I pulled in a few of these scraps, and I found this edging of some really old vintage. I don't know what that was part of, but it was part of something anyway. So, oh, excuse me, frog in my throat again. So that's going to go on here. A place, right? A place is just going to be Halloween. It's going to be the places that are represented over Halloween. That's how I'm dealing with the place. There are going to be things on this page that I can go, oh, well, that's a place and that's a place. So I'm not worried about the place one. Graph paper, I pulled in big graph, small graph, light and dark. So I've got a mixture of graph paper. This may form quite a bit of the background, to be honest with you. Something you hold in your hand. Well, that was sort of a non-given. There's a fork in this picture. You hold a fork in your hand, unless you're a very peculiar person. Now, this last one actually threw me. I don't really know what it means. It says something crooked. Now, I don't know whether that's crooked or crooked, or does that mean something bent or twisted or has got an angle in it? This one confused me. So I'm sort of, I'm translating that as something twisted, and then I'm going to twist into that Halloween. But this one, I just don't really know what this means. Something crooked. Completely threw me. Maybe it's an Americanism I'm not quite familiar with, but hey ho, we'll deal with it. So, and then I've got a sledge load of other things I pulled in that I want to use. So this much of a sledge load. So I've got some darker things. This is what I mean. I'm going to try and do a bit of a dark and shade thing for Halloween. This I pulled in. I've been saving this orange tissue paper for absolutely ever for this. I've got a stencil I really like because I like the numbers on it. These are some of my jelly printing and ink splatters craft stuff. More tissue paper, a bit more tissue paper. That's obviously from the Reader's Digest. Some of my stamps that I want to use, one of my embossed labels on book page, and some ink. So I've got an absolute shed load of stuff to use on here. And if you haven't noticed, I'm excited about this one. So right, first of all, I need to cover up stuff. So let's just crack right on and get this. I do apologise. I've got a feeling this video may be a little longer than my videos normally are. But then you know what? If we're enjoying ourselves, I don't think anyone's going to really care. So, and I will be enjoying myself with this one. I like I like this whole darker side of stuff. One of my favourite designers is Tim Holtz, and I don't think anyone does Halloween like Tim Holtz does Halloween. I wish I had a fraction of the talent of the people who are on this design team, I tell you. It's funny though, because I mean, I know who's on this design team. Well, he mentions them anyway, but I don't really see any of their channels. Do you know what I mean? I haven't come across any of their YouTube channels. If you do know of any of the makers that Tim uses on this design team, and you happen to follow them on YouTube, can you put their YouTube channel name in the comments? Because I'd quite like to watch some of these people create, because I am more than a little envious of their skills. Right, I'm just going to stick this piece down just because I can. Yeah, just a little bit envious of their skills, and I'm sure they're fabulous teachers, and they probably do online tutorials and stuff as well, and I'd quite like to see some of them. So, because I try to do little vignettes, I try to do little pieces with drippy candles and stuff like that, just for my own pleasure. They don't turn out exactly the way I'd like them to, but you know what? Maybe I'm trying to be someone else when really I should just be trying to be me. And I think there's a lot to be said for that for a lot of us. Right, let's pull in some of this, I think, next. As you can see, I'm really thinking I'm going to be going dark and dingy and that kind of ilk when it comes to this. I'm not sure. As I said, I've got a feeling this is going to have numerous layers to it. I'd quite like to save that little bit and use it somewhere on here. So I think I need to take a touch more of that off. So there you go. Right. Now, I must be honest, I'm beginning to film ahead. So even this is Halloween week. It's not actually Halloween week I'm filming this in. And I'm doing that on purpose because I know my workload is about to start. Well, not about. It is picking up again. I also know that on the 4th, 5th and... Is it 4th, 5th, 6th or 5th, 6th, 7th? I'm at the NEC, which is the National Exhibition Centre here in the UK. And I'm doing a really big cake show. And there's 2 really big craft shows at the same time. And I'm just going to have to cut that because I can't tear that little bit. And I'm going to be busy preparing for that, and there's going to be no way in heck I'm going to get the time to actually do stuff that I want to do. I just need to get on with the shows because they're important, and it's sort of a marker of British shows coming back. I think that this is probably the first big cake show that's going to have happened in Britain since the pandemic started. I mean, they've been online, obviously, as most cake shows have. But, yeah, I think this is the first time a real big show's going on. And I've got a feeling that maybe there's been a craft show already this year. I'm not a fan with all of the shows that go on. But I swear there's actually a craft show that's actually already happened as well. Covered most of it up. Well, why did I bother? So actually I might just stick that right up there, and that means I keep that piece as well. Let's fold this over so it doesn't stick to this. So yes, but it's a big show, and I'm demonstrating at it, and I'll be working on a stand as well, which I'm a little bit nervous of, to be honest with you, because it's face to face with the public. I'm going to wear a mask. I don't know whether anyone else is wearing masks or not, but I can tell you now, I sure as sugar am. I'm going to be masked and probably wearing a visor as well, because my art isn't worth my life. Do you know what I mean? My life may be my art, but it's not worth dying for. That's something that's not going to happen. Right, I'm sticking bits on here and not even thinking what I'm doing. Right, that bit needs covering and that bit needs covering. Let's just use a bit of this. So let's tear that down there. So hopefully you're all doing okay. As I said, I'm filming ahead, so I can't really comment on the comments from the last couple of videos. because they may not have been released yet. That'll kind of do. I could have done with tearing that a little bit bigger, couldn't I, really? Isn't it terrible? You look at the grid line and then you forget which line it was and then you guess, and it sort of makes it all pointless because I should have just watched what I was doing. That's sticky, I'm not gluing on there. Back in the box with that little one. It all seems to be of a sudden Christmas here. Don't know what it's like where you are. I mean, I don't know whether the country you live in actually celebrates Christmas. Obviously, we're international here. We're of multiple beliefs and ethnic backgrounds and everything. So it could be that you actually don't celebrate Christmas. And whatever you celebrate, I hope it's wonderful for you. As I said, we're heading. Well, Christmas is all over the flipping place. It's obscene. The shops have got so much Christmas stuff in already. The decorations are up. They've been up since, well, up in the stores, not in the homes. Christmas has been in the stores for months now. I think I first started seeing stuff in June or July in the stores, which I think, yeah, maybe sounding a bit old-fashioned, but I think that's a little bit obscene. I think that's just way too early. I think if I just tear that bit off. I'm of the personal belief that if you start Christmas too early, it sort of dilutes what Christmas should be about. Then some would say that the commercial world needs to bounce back. Yeah, do you really have to use a religious ceremony to get it back again? I'm going to leave that to one side. These bits can go in the scrap box. I'm looking at this thinking I would like that across the bottom there. Let's fold this up because it's going to chew up my... Actually, I need to stick something down there first. Right, what can we stick down there? Let's just take a normal bit of book page and just see where I can tear a piece off, because there's going to be so much more going on this page. I've probably done that really quickly and totally it's not going to work. Oh, actually, it might work. Let's take that little bit off there. Is that dry? That's dry. So as you can see, I'm not really caring about the background because I know there's a huge amount to go on here, or there is in my mind anyway. I cover that up with that. I push that up slightly, and I can still read all of the prompts, and that put this piece across the bottom there, which I'm more than happy to do. And this is probably going to eat my glue stick big time, so let's try and just dab it a bit more than rub it. So yes, I mean, Christmas is Christmas and it's fine, and yes, I know it's giving everyone hope and all of that malarkey, but you know what, it's just, I sound like a Grinch. I know I sound like a Grinch, but I want Christmas to be Christmas. And I find that I get really sour about Christmas by the time it arrives, because you go around the big stores or the supermarkets or the grocery store, and what do you hear? You hear kids having tantrums, you hear couples arguing, and it's not supposed to be that at Christmas, is it? So anyway, off that one, back to Halloween. Right, we've covered the page. Maybe I want to do a bit of distressing now, just to take off any edges that I've missed, or misaligned, should we say, or any edges like this that weren't round to start with. Just get that down. Yeah, so if this is 44, that means I've only got 8 of these left to do. I'm excited that I'm getting to the end. I'm sort of slightly sad that I'm coming to the end, because I like doing this, but I'm also excited because it means I've got an opportunity to do something new next year, which we all know I'm going to try and do. Let's take that down a bit there and just take that off there. So I'm going to be doing something new next year. Have I enjoyed this challenge? Yes, I have. Sometimes I've been a bit frustrated with the prompts because they haven't made sense to me, and the way my brain works. things need to make sense with each other, and I've had to struggle sometimes to actually find a core theme, should we say, or something that makes sense within the collage to me. Right, let's have a little think at the moment. Right, I don't want to start putting any of the prompts on yet, but I do want to dip into this pile. So I know for definite I want these numbers and I might want those numbers. So who is this by? It's DecoArt, www.decoart.com, and I don't know that it's got a name. It says Andy107, whoever Andy is. Maybe you want to take this out, it will give me a title. Andy Skinner, that's who that is. Oh, I think it's called Industrial Elements. There you go. It's great. It's a great one. I like it. It's, you see, I've used it before. I just liked it. It gave me a large variety of stuff to delve into. So I'm just going to put some numbers on here. I'm just using black archival. I don't need it to be black, but I do need it to be darker than the surrounding papers. As I said, we may find a lot of this is going to get covered up eventually anyway. Do I care if it's straight? I don't care if it's straight. Do I care if it's on an angle? Not in the slightest. I just care that it's on the page. So I just want to really go to town. This is feeling very much like a mixed media spread to me, not necessarily a collage spread, which in itself is not a problem. So let's pull these numbers down the side there. It's funny, it looks like these are the numbers I used last time when I used the stencil. I don't know what I used it on, I can't remember, but there you go. I think I want some more on there. What else can be on there? Let's put number 152. Whatever number 152 is, it's now going on here. I'm sure it means something to somebody somewhere in the world. Right. Well, there's another number there. Number 337. Actually, I've got a feeling that's where the pecan pie is going to go. So let's just pop number 337. Actually, let's just do the whole of that grouping. And I think that'll have to be it, because I can get carried away when I'm doing stenciling and stuff like this. Right. Okay, that's cool. I'm looking here thinking I want to put just something in there. Maybe I'll get that 72 in there. Well, actually 721 might go in there. There you go. Right. Okay, happy with that. I don't normally clean my stencils when I'm using archival because it sets and it's not going to be a problem anyway. So, but I do want to put it back in its bag before I put something on it or I drop it. Or they're quite robust stencils, these are, I must admit. They're of a good quality plastic or whatever you want to call it's made of. So happy with that. Right, let's see what else do I need on this page. I wanted to put, before I do some top elements, I want to do some bottom elements. Right, I quite liked this. Yes, I know it's white, but I'm just thinking a few strips of this tissue paper just to give me something that's script-like without me stamping script. Not that there's anything wrong with me stamping script. I just think I'd rather do this more mixed media-ish this time. So I'm just going to run glue stick over the back of this and hopefully not stick one to the other Griffiths. Why is it when it starts to go wrong, it really goes wrong? Why can't it just go right for once? Right, I'm thinking I want that up there. And I don't care whether it's straight, on an angle, whatever. I just want this to be on there. Right, this little bit needs to come in as well. As you can see, well, actually there's quite a lot of crafters do this. I tend to do things in threes. It balances for me. That's all I can say, is it works because it works. Right. And as Diane Reevely would say, a background is a background because it's a background. So I'm not looking to put any feature pieces on here at the moment. I'm literally just sticking stuff down that pleases or calls to me. Right, there you go. Right, so that's that tissue paper done with. I really loved this one. It's like some really rusty metal or something. So let's take some of this out of here. Now, I wasn't planning on a whole strip, but I can go for a whole strip. Put that over that side. Let's see if I can rip the other side. Well, that was a bit of luck. That doesn't normally happen. Right, I think I want a piece of that up there. Now, obviously, I've pulled a whole load of things out. Basically, I've gone through the supplies I've got in the craft cave, and I've gone, I want that, want that, want that, want that. It's not all going to fit on this page. So I have to be realistic about that. But I'm sort of kind of working in the order of things that I like. So I'm going to do my best to do the pieces on here that really call to me. So, and I don't really want a cut straight edge. I don't mind a torn straight edge. I just don't want a cut straight edge. Right. Let's stick that bit up there. Right, do I want this last piece on there? I think I might actually. I'll pop that down there. Is that glued? No. And I know that because I'm dealing with layers at the moment, there's a lot of this going to be covered up. I do know that. But I don't mind that either. So, it's a bright sunny day here. We're sort of relishing in the last few sunny days of autumn. Some of us are clinging on to the hope that this may last a little bit longer, not sure. Right, I pulled this out. I think this isn't going to work, so that's going to go into the parking lot again. Really liked these, but I really like this as well. And I think that if I put this on, if anything, it'll be a top layer just to give me a bit of visual texture. So I'm just going to come in with some of this. Now this is just gift wrap tissue. So, and I've got a feeling this came from an Etsy order. I swear somebody sent me something and they wrapped it in this, and I was so happy because I went, ooh, I haven't got orange tissue paper. So, me being me. So I'll just want to pop this in this corner. Now I don't mind if this wrinkles, crinkles, crunches up, whatever it is, it will just add to the character of the final piece. Because any creases or crinkles I could potentially rub over the top with a black ink pad, and then it would highlight those crinkles even more. So, and I want to use this as a colour that ties things together. So let's take another bit. I quite like tissue paper in the fact that no matter how you want to tear it, it will tear the way it wants to tear anyway. It's like it's got a mind of its own, and I'm okay with that. So, right, let's put that bit there. And I think one more piece up here might be a good idea. On this paper, how you're going to tear. That's probably bigger than I expected it to be, so it's not going to be that big, I can assure you. And it doesn't help that I've got gluey fingers now, because gluey fingers means I've got everything stuck to me, and it really infuriates me when I can't get things off my fingers, which you may have noticed in previous videos. I get a bit antsy when I can't free my fingers up. So let's just stick that down by there. And as I said, I don't mind if it crinkles or creases, that's all adding to the character. Right, that's enough of that. This orange will live to see another day. So what the other day is going to be, not quite sure, but it's there. Maybe I'll add another layer on later. Right, are there other things I want to do? Right, I definitely want to use these two. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to sort of do this as day and this as night. Now you can see this is quite dark. It's going to cover up a lot of that, but I'm not using it as one whole piece. I'll probably take pieces out of it. This one I'll probably also take pieces out of. What's on the back? Oh, seahorses. There you go. I do think I want to come in and do a little bit of rubber stamping into this though, just to add to the background. And as we know, I like this skull stamp. Not a stranger to you all, I feel. You've seen it before. Let's get myself a stamp block. So, as you know by now, because I've said it loads and loads of times, this is by a company called Visual Image. That's the thing. There you go. Oh, Visible Image. Sorry, there you go. I'm selling the wrong company. www.visibleimage.com. Go to their site. They do have some wonderful eclectic stamps and I absolutely love them. Now I'm not looking for a perfect impression. If I get one, all well and good. If not, all well and good, because as I said, this is going to be part of, see, I quite like that sort of semi look to it. If I can just get things that are lurking in the background, that works for me as well. And obviously, because stuff is underneath these on previous pages, you won't get a full stamp anyway. Wonder whether I want to just do cleaning off the stamp here. There you go, I'm okay with that. Right, I do want to put maybe one or two of the little ones in as well. Let's pull the little one out. Sorry if I'm out of shot. I'm just peeling rubber stamps off anyway, so it's not rocket science. It's not a tutorial. You're not going to learn anything except that I just pull them off the surface. So again, as I said, I'm not on a flat surface, so I don't expect it to fully stamp. It doesn't help that I've got that spiral there, but oh, actually that came out really well. And I think one more down here. Actually, maybe I'll do one over there as well. Okay, I think that's enough of that. I think I've got some tissue paper stuck on there. Yes, I did. Glad I spotted that, because that would have been there forever and a day. Right, let's put this one by. And yes, I'll show you what this one is called in a moment. Just get it back in its packaging. So let's see, what's this one called? Mr. Bone Jangles. There you go. All of that. Love this set. I use this a lot. I'm happy with that one. So I'm now going to dip into this one. I think I haven't used much of that. I know I've definitely used that, but I haven't used many of these elements. But I've been looking at that book for a while, and I'm thinking the book might go down there. So yeah, it's a new stamp. I haven't used this one before. Oh, right, off with the block. So let's give this a really good ink in case it's first time out. Hopefully it gives me a good impression, because I haven't tried this one out before. So if I give it a really good ink, that looks like a really good ink. I can sit that across there. It's okay. It's not fabulous, but you know what? It's because I've got other things underneath it. I want to put one more up there. As I said, a lot of this may not even be seen in the final process, because I'm going to be putting stuff over the top of it. Right, let's see if I can put one more up there. Yeah, I should really have conditioned the stamp first, and by doing that I would normally just stamp on and stamp off to some scrap paper. Yeah, didn't all come out. It's because I haven't got an even page. It definitely stamps onto my scrap over here, so my fault. I didn't condition the stamp, and I'm trying to make it stamp onto an uneven surface. Still, love that. Love the stamp. Right, I've kind of going to not do the crow because I seem to have a lot of things going on here, and that's fine. And this one was called Free Imagination. There you go, Free Your Imagination. And it's funny because I think that, is it this one if I put it? Yay, where have you gone? I had a label I made that said imagination. Bear with me. Where have I put that? I have an imagination sticker I made. Oh, well, hopefully it'll show up. Hopefully I haven't stuck it under something, which is probably typical of me. So let's put the stamping block away. Where's that gone? Has it dropped on the floor? No, not under the desk. Right, it will show up its little head, I'm sure. Oh, found it. There you go. There's the imagination. This is going somewhere on this page as well. Once it's all finished, that's likely to be a very last layer to go on. So, let's start with this one first, I think. Right, now, it seems like a peculiar colour for me to be reaching for on such an orange background. I don't mind because I'm really only focusing kind of on that bit there. So, and it's rice paper, and I'm going to tear the rice paper. And I've done this before, so I know it actually does tear. You've just got to be a bit, you've got to keep your pressure on the tear ruler and keep the direction that you're tearing in across the ruler, because if you don't, it will tear out. I don't mind that like that. I'm trying to get this piece out of here, so come across here, and I mean tearing across, I mean tear across this way so that you're taking the edge of the ruler. This will go into the bag with all the scraps. Part of me feels I actually want to use Mod Podge on this, but I know glue stick will hold it down equally as well. Let's just snip that little bit off. There must have been a thicker fibre in there. Right, do I want it up that high? No, I don't. Right, so just give this a bit of a tear. This is thicker rice paper than I normally use, so I'm wondering whether I do want to use Mod Podge on this. Maybe I do. Maybe let's grab out some Mod Podge, purely because it's more of a liquid. It might dissolve the paper back a bit. So when I say Mod Podge, this is what I'm using. I'm just going to use a flat brush, and we're going to stick this on. Right, I think I need to put a page underneath this just so that it doesn't go through to the page underneath. So, right, so it's pretty much along the line of that and that. So, I do use Mod Podge quite a lot in my larger collages, and I tend to use it to seal my pieces down with. I also use Mod Podge to do glass bottles with. When I put tissue paper or rice paper onto a glass bottle, I use this. And what it does, it just attaches it and it seals it. Right, let's pop this on here and just smooth it out with this. And then I'm going to go over the top with a bit of Mod Podge and hope it just dissolves it into the background a little bit. Sorry, I've gone all quiet on you, haven't I? So it didn't become as transparent as I hoped it was going to become. I mean, I can still see pieces through. I might actually go in after and restamp maybe that skull in there and maybe re-stencil a bit of the number on there again. Right, so that gives me that sort of thing there. Right, so I'm done with that load. Let's pull over this one. Now, I'm actually wanting this bit because I'm thinking that's one doorway, that's another doorway, although I might pull in something else along here. I just don't want to be making things far too dark. Although dark never really bothered me in the first place. So let me just try and tear this down a bit. Yeah, let's tear that across there. And tear this without tearing the whole sheet. I'll be quite happy. Right. Let's put that over to one side. I might revisit some of the elements of both of these. I'm not sure. This is kind of where the crooked piece will come in, or crooked, whatever that's meant to be. So for me, this is a sort of twist in the tail, really. Let's tear that. It's not wanting to tear nicely. Right, I'm being stuck to things, guys. I'm being stuck to things. Right, that can come out of there. There's nothing under there to stick. Right, this is going to go up here. And where does it need to go to? Right, if I just do it to about the midpoint of that skull. Yes, I think I'm going to have to go in and restamp some of the elements over the top of this when it's dried off a bit, which is fine because it means I can re-establish yet another layer. And when you do things like mixed media, layers are the secret. You want the person viewing your piece of art to actually look into your piece of art. Well, I do anyway. I want them to discover things within it. Right, let's put that down. Let's lay that on about there. Give it a bit of a smooth. Yeah, I don't know where I got this rice paper from. I know it's definitely not Stamperia. And as you know, I normally use Stamperia. And this wasn't a Stamperia one, which is why I think it's a bit thicker than the one I'm used to. I was hoping it was going to be a bit semi-transparent. Right. Right, we will stamp some stuff over the top of that. Let's put the Mod Podge by, because I don't foresee me adding any more rice paper like that. Now, bit of a trick for you. If you're working and you've got a paintbrush that needs washing and you haven't actually pulled out a cup of water, wrap it in a wet wipe and that will actually just keep it moist until you get to the point when you want to clean it. So, did I move that at all? No. Right, let's have a quick look at the prompts, because I do know there are things I haven't yet added to this. So let's just make that sure that's not sticking, because I don't want it creating a problem with the layer below or the layer below. Right, something sweet. So pumpkin pie still needs to go on here somewhere. I'm going to trim this down a little bit. I don't need all of this background around this. I do want to keep the bit of the fork on, because the fork is the actual something you hold in your hand, although arguably there are other things on here that I could say could be that prompt, but I think I'm going to do that, and I think that's going to live by there. Why does that look like a tear? It's not a tear. I'm just going to put a bit of vintage photo on the edge of that just to calm that down a bit. I'll pull in the glue book, jump back onto a Pritt stick. What was Pritt? It is a Pritt stick actually. A glue stick. So yes, so the cake world is kicking back into being. The craft world is kicking back into being. TV has already kicked back into being for me. Lots of stuff going on. It's all exciting and I'm all very excited about it. Workloads have become huge again. I'm not going to complain about that. Heck, we've held our lives on hold for about a year. I think we can do with something different than that. Right, something sweet. We've got fabric. I'm about to think about fabric now, so it's by there. A place. These are places. Whatever that doorway or gateway is, it's another place. Graph paper, we definitely put that in there. Something you hold in your hand. I've got just the edge of a fork there. If you were doing a certain Shakespearean play, you would be holding a skull going, alas, poor Yorick. And that would be something you hold in your hand. And something crooked or crooked, or I'm going to refer to it as twisted, because I think, well, this is what this may represent. Right, is this dry enough to... Yeah, I just don't want it sticking to anything below it. That's 44, that's 45, right. Okay, so let's look at the fabric thing now. I wonder whether this stuff tears. I have a feeling it didn't tear when I tried tearing it. Yeah, this is the stuff that doesn't tear. I have no idea why this fabric won't tear. It's obviously got a certain weave or a whatever it is fabric has. So let's just cut this sucker. And I can just pull at the threads on the edge, give myself a little bit of interest in it. There you go, that's given it a little bit more interest. And then I've got the lacy bit as well, which I think if I'm going to use this, I'm probably going to cut a chunk of this off because I don't need that whole width of fabric. Right, I'm just hoping that the Mod Podge is drying enough now so I can go in and do some stuff over the top of it. That's another reason I don't tend to use wet glues when I do my videos, is because you've always then got to wait for the drying times. That's a piece that can go on the top of a tag. Right, pull you out the way, you're out the way. Are you dry? You're dry enough. You're still slightly damp. Right, I want to come in, just put the ink, put the lid on that again. I'm going to go back in with that stencil. Where have I put the stencil? Right, I'm going to come back in and re-establish some of the numbers because I liked the numbers. There's the black ink pad gone. There you go. Right. I want numbers down here. I don't know whether they were there before or not, but they're good. Actually, we did have a number down here. I think we had something like number 3337 or something. So that's going to go back in again. See, there's nothing that can't be rescued, guys. I must admit, I was a bit disappointed that the rice paper wasn't as transparent as I wanted. But you know what? That's just led me to doing something else with it. Doors, let's put number 15 there. It'd be better if it was number 13 because of the celebration we've got. But is Halloween a celebration? That's a thought. I don't know how you refer to that. Right, so that was number 471. So there was obviously a 06 before that, so we're going to put the 06 back in. And that will give the illusion that that layer is back in place. 337 is there, but there was an N, and an O referring to number. Okay, that's that one back in. I quite like something up there. Wonder whether I can just create the number 13. Let's challenge ourselves, shall we? I don't know why I'm thinking this has to have a number 13 on it. Probably because 13's unlucky for some. There you go, I've got a 13 on there. Right, I did want something down there and I kept looking at it going, I can't fit anything in. It has to be something that's on the edge. I'm not sure I wanted 152, but it's the only thing I think that's going to fit in there. And I maybe put lace in there anyway, who knows. Right. Okay, so I've re-established some of the things in there. I'm thinking I want something in there as well. It's all about the visual texture. All about the visual texture. Right, this can go back in its little plastic envelope later. Right, now I want to re-establish some of the stamping because I wanted a skull there. I don't mind trying to redo the skull there, which is going to be a bit risky because I might end up with a double impression, but you know what? If that's what I get, that's what I get. As I've said before, my art, my way. Although it could be my mistake as well, so we will do our darndest, that's what I can say. I do think, however, this time I'm going to put something underneath this, like another block. This will hopefully give me a firm enough surface to stamp upon, so I should get the whole skull in there. So I'm going to give it a good old inking this time, because I know I've got a flat surface to press it up against. I only have to marry the bottom of the chin. It's just fingers crossed, guys. We don't know how this one's going to work. Yes, I don't mind that looking like that. That's fine, because I've got the word imagination to put in there as well. Yeah, it's a bit too risky to try that there. Let's not push our luck, Griffiths, shall we? Right, I did want to put the little one back in again. And I might actually try and re-establish the book as well, because I printed the book in and then covered it up completely. Actually, while that's doing that, let's pop that under there, so I've got something firm to stamp this onto. And this one, I'm not trying to marry it up with the one below, I'm just trying to put it on there. There you go, that works for me. Let's pop that across there. So I'll put that in the envelope, I can do that a little bit later. Let's pull out the book one. I feel like I haven't talked enough in this video. There's probably people out there going, thank goodness you haven't. But I don't know, I just feel like I've talked a lot less. Probably because I'm just in the zone, really. I'm just, my brain is doing this. It's not in the thinking, talking mode. And that's kind of where I go when I do the mixed media thing. My brain just shuts down on the rest of the world. And all I do is, my brain is just creating. It's telling me about alternatives. It's telling me things I should be doing and shouldn't be doing. That's better. Right. Let's unpeel that. Now the question is, did I want to put the crow in here or not? And I think I'm going to say not. Because there's enough black on this page as it is. I've still got the fabric to go. And let's take that out and that out. Right, so as far as I'm concerned, the only thing left to go, I'm going to leave this out because I might edge the 8 pages in it. The only thing I've got left to do, oh, I forgot I've got stickers over there too. Talk about a million different layers, Griffiths. I've got stickers over to my right. I've got them, I've already peeled them off. I've got things like this. And I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to add these to cover up things below. These came from a sticker book, which was called the Antiquarian, I think it was, and I picked it up on Amazon. I don't mind that over there because I was a bit dubious about that one stamping anyway. Let's fold that over. I've got more stickers here. I've got this one which might go nicely down there. Now there's probably out there people going, I absolutely hate that because you don't like Halloween. Totally appreciate that, guys. It's not everybody's cup of tea. It's not everyone's cup of coffee either. But some of us like it, and I like to give a nod to that occasion. That's probably, actually, it's probably going to take some knocking down with vintage photo because those are just a little white for me. Right, what else did I have in the stickers? I had this little tiny crow, which might go on top of his head. How about that? A little tiny crow on top of his head, on the edge of the page. There you go. What else is over here? Right, I've got bats. I did bring some bats in. there's a bat. So I've got bats. Do I feel that bats are overkill? Which I don't mind a bat there. Right, there's a bat going in there. Even if it's just the one bat, there's a bat going in there. I was trying to avoid using pumpkins, I must admit. I don't know why I was trying to avoid using pumpkins, but I thought pumpkins might be a bit too predictable for this spread. So I tended to steer away from the pumpkins. Although I absolutely love pumpkins. Let's just park that one for a second. I've got another one over here that I might just put it there. It's quirky enough to be on its side. Oh, I think I just ripped its head off. I did rip its head off. Okay, I've just mutated or mutilated a bat. It maybe deserved it. Right, I need a wet one, guys, because I've got sticky fingers galore now. Right, try and dig that off there. Well, I guess it was telling me there wasn't meant to be a bat on that piece of numbering. Right. So that leaves me with my final bat, which might go there actually. Let's see if I can not decapitate this bat. There you go. The bat lives to fight another day. Right. I think everything except fabric is on here, and before I put the fabric on, I think I just want to go around the edges with black archival. So all I'm doing is I'm not using a brush, I'm literally just rubbing the ink pad along the edges of the page just to give it that bit of a basic outline. Trying to mucky that up a bit because it looks a little bit too clean for me. Right, all we need to do is put the lace on here now, I feel. And lace is going to have to be put on with Fabri-Tac, which is by there. Right, where do we want it though? It says fabric, so I don't have to use the fabric unless I absolutely want to use the fabric. But I kind of like the fabric. I am seeing a trend in myself. I tend to stick things on the edges of pages, and I'm wondering whether I need to probably try and not do that. But it just, that seems the best place to put it. So guess what? I'm putting it on the edge. Now what I am going to do, however, is I'm just going to rub the lace on a bit of black archival just to give it a bit more grunginess, because it will be too late to do it when I've stuck it down. So if I can do this, there you go, that will just dirty that up a bit, or grungy, which is another word. Right, I need a line of Fabri-Tac down here. Maybe a double line of Fabri-Tac down here will do. Right. Where have I put it? There it is. Right. Lie that down the edge of that page. You have a few minutes for Fabri-Tac, so you can move it around a little bit should you wish, which I think I do want to wish. I think I put too far down the page. Actually, that looks quite okay on that page, that's fine. I do feel I want some on here though. I'm wondering where. I quite like that. maybe just a piece up there. And again, just come in with my bit of grunge. Lay that out so I know how long I've got to go. I'm okay with that. There's the lid. Okay, I'm wondering if there's anything else I want to do to this. Hopefully that was in shot. I just realised I'd moved the whole thing. I'm looking at this thing, I've lost the orange, and I really wanted the orange in it. Let's see. Oh, I haven't put the label in either. Let's see if I can just put a couple of little pieces of orange, because they're sort of just screaming for a bit of orange as far as I'm concerned. Just a little bit here and there. So I know I'd said I wanted it to be dark, but it's looking too dark now. It's twisted at the end, but maybe that's the twisted bit. There's that bit. Maybe a little bit by there as well. Yep, just a little bit by there. Well, I did tell you this was likely to be a long video, so looking at the timer, it looks like we're probably going to be about an hour on this video, which I don't mind. Thank you if you've stayed to the end. A little bit long there. Right, I think that's everything that needs to be on there, with the exception of I just wanted to put that label on, which was imagination, and I obviously want to grunge up the edges of this a tad. And there is a video on how to do these, guys. If you go into my playlist, how to use up old book pages, I think the playlist is, it's in there. I think that's just where it's going to go, to be honest. So right across there to help if it's straight. Mind you, I can never tell whether it's straight because I wear varifocals, so everything is on slightly on a curve for me. So let's take that out of the way. So there you go. It certainly didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, because I was expecting these rice papers to be more transparent, and they're obviously not. That needs a bit of darkening down because that's a bit light. That needs a bit there. There you go, and a bit there. But at the end of the day, it screams sort of Halloweenish to me. Probably a bit of Day of the Dead as well, but it's certainly Halloweenish to me, so I'm going to be okay with that. Says he's fiddling just a little bit more on the whiteness of that. Maybe a little bit over there as well. And we're going to call that quits. So I think that's number 44 done. So all social media links. Love you to like me, share me, subscribe to me. Positive comments are always welcome. This is where you'll find me, and I'm not hiding, so you'll find me there somewhere. This is me saying goodbye. So this is Ceri the Crafter. That's Ceri the Crafter. Signing off until next time. Bye bye now.